Whenever you have the entrepreneurial spirit, you're automatically going to be searching for solutions. It's the way you think. Well, I have this goal, how do I get there? I can do some of my own, but I definitely need more knowledge to get there. It's just what you do. Whereas people who don't have the entrepreneurial spirit and are the other part of the capital situation and are working 9 to 5, they're kind of, this sounds harsh, but I don't mean it harsh, they're kind of the common capital that makes the entrepreneurial system work. They're going to be stuck there and they're never going to go past that vision, and so they may end up, it's kind of hardcore, but they may end up in their last days going, you know, I could have been a contender, I could have done something, I could have been somebody, you know.
And it can be achieved as long as you just keep going for it and don't let other people bring you down. Don't let other people change your mind. And you know, what else is there? This is the only life we have, you know. Why live it a mediocre life? Make it what you want to.
My name is Daniel Iversen. I'm from Portland, Oregon, and I run Portland Boot Camp. I grew up in Lexington, Kentucky, and first caught the fitness bug at about 8 years old, looking in the back of probably a Spider-Man comic. I saw Charles Atlas, and I was the proverbial 98-pound weakling. I just got my hands on everything I could get on for bodybuilding and fitness, which at the time was dominated by like Arnold Schwarzenegger and, you know, Frank Zane and all those guys. I was like, someday I'm going to be one of those guys. And the years went by, and I actually went to college for music. I was on a scholarship for classical guitar, bizarrely enough. And then when I finished that, I went to Las Vegas. We just randomly picked up and went to Vegas, and I had this huge dream of being a professional musician there. I had been a professional musician for a while in studios. I was a studio guitar player and, you know, did reasonably well, so I thought, why not go for the big time and go to Vegas? Well, we actually had a major car wreck on the way out there, and we escaped death very narrowly and lost everything. The car flipped over and over and over, and they thought we were dead when they pulled us out, but somehow I survived with just putting my elbow through the window.
We arrived to Las Vegas on Independence Day on July 4th, and so that was like a huge thing for us, getting off the bus with like the 2 trash bags that we had and 1 guitar.
And walked into town at 1 a.m. like, all right, now what? Got a little hotel room for the night, and then eventually ended up on Fremont Street, which if you've ever been to Vegas, I mean, that's pimps and hookers and drug dealers, oh my, it's gnarly. You know, you walk down the street and they're like, you know, what you need, it's like that. We were in a weekly without knowing how we were going to come up with the money to make it through the weekly. So we got down to legitimately like a jar of mayonnaise, ketchup, and I think I had like 97 cents in change. And I finally got a job driving for an electrical company, delivering electrical wire, which is pretty, as far from being an entrepreneur and making it as I could possibly imagine, but I had a job. It was great. And then one day I saw an ad for personal trainer wanted, and it said no experience necessary, and I remembered I've been interested in this stuff my whole life. You know, I've totally been into this. I work out all the time. Why not do what I love to do? And I finally, for the first time, saw maybe you can make money doing what you really enjoy. And I can't, the other love was music. I'm not making money with that. Why don't I try this? So I went to 24-hour Family Fitness, which is now 24-hour Fitness. And I got paid a whopping $5 an hour for 30 hours a week, and was a glorified, you know, leg extension teacher. And from there, it grew a little bit. And so my wife got transferred to California with a company she was working at the time. She was my girlfriend at the time. And it was with a coffee company called Gloria Jeans. So we got to Santa Cruz, and I dropped out of fitness for a little while, which I was kind of sad about. But I wanted to support her in her dreams, so we went there, and that lasted for about a year or so, and then we moved to Los Angeles. We lived there for a few years, and it's not fun, to be honest with you. We moved to Portland, Oregon because I wanted to start a family. We got to Portland, Oregon, and I jumped back to 24-hour fitness because I know this, I've been a trainer, I know I could get a job. I did that. I worked there for a few years and just blew up and did so well, had so many clients, I thought, why don't I do this on my own? So there was definitely fear involved when I broke away from the big gym, because here I am, I'm going to go on my own, but I was so ready psychologically to just do my own thing.
The first camp had 12 people, and they met out on a a park tennis court and 5:30 in the morning, and word got out and slowly it started building and building. So yeah, by the time that our first child was, gosh, probably in April of the following year, we already had started a second camp. So things picked up pretty quickly, word of mouth, and then just his marketing savvy that he already had.
So it was this slow building of skills and understanding and studying, and then enter NPE, and it was just critical mass, and it's just like, it's like rocket fuel. It's like I was building the rocket, but not sure how it all fit together, and then NPE comes along and goes, here's the secret blueprints. And I went to mega training after having attended over the last few years prior to that lots of seminars on direct marketing, on product development, on continuity models, you name it. And they're all legitimate if you apply yourself, they are. But for some reason, none of those really spoke to me personally. And I couldn't put my finger on what it was. It just never felt quite right. So I went to mega training again because I'm constantly moving forward. No matter what, I always feel like there's a solution. And you know, NPE seemed like they had another solution that I was willing to investigate. And I went to mega training, and immediately I could tell there was a difference in the quality of the people in the room. That was immediately obvious. These were real entrepreneurs. Real entrepreneurs with real vision for real businesses that actually create value in the community, and cycle value exchange, and I could sense that. And then at the end of the mega training conference, there was a dinner that was held, and that's when everybody stood up and told where they were. And I normally don't have any problem speaking, but for some reason when it came around the mic, I was thinking, wow, I really have to kind of open myself up and say, I don't know what I'm doing at this point. And so I said that, and I realized that the people in the room that were essentially a year ahead of me were just cranking it, and were just bawling it in the fitness industry. And I was like, I want to be part of that. And you had to apply to be in VIP. So immediately I did on the spot, and then got the call from Camellia and was accepted, and that was just great. It was awesome. Before I started with NPE, I was doing okay, I think. Better than most people in my area, I think, just because of my drive and sheer, I'm gonna do it despite red eyes and pain. Working through it. I was getting close to six figures already. But then after I implemented much of what you have to offer, which is really just the beginning for me. Next year is going to be crazy, but just in this first year alone, I've more than doubled what I've done. This year it'll be well past $250,000, and I had my biggest month in June at about $31,000 gross, with pretty healthy margin, past 60%. I can say that. Sometimes. I didn't really understand what that meant until I was sitting down with Camellia and talking to her, and I was like, she said, that's really incredible. Really? Well, what do you mean that's really incredible? Because the average margin is much, much lower. There's so many costs involved. One of the things I did, though, and I recommend this for anybody, is I built at the pace that I could afford. So I started in a park rather than having a space and just trying to blow up immediately. As far as lifestyle, that's where it's really at for me. The money is great, and I have no doubt that I'll make a lot more. That's fantastic, and that's why we're in business, partly. But for me, it has been the peace of mind of knowing that I have legitimate systems in place so that I can grow without limits. So where I am right now is, I think I'm 10 years younger. Even though I'm a year older, calendar-wise, I'm 10 years younger. I'm fitter again because I can focus time on my own fitness. I've got a better relationship with my family because I'm not pushing them off. I'm not stressed out saying I don't have time right now. And just that little thing is enormous. It's enormous. And for other business owners that are out there that are feeling stressed out, I know that they understand what I'm talking about. Just the little things that at your last breath, how did things go? And you look back and you say, well, I had all these moments, or did you miss all those moments? And I know I'm gonna get all those moments.
We made it. We did it all ourselves. There was nothing that we brought from anybody else, nothing that we borrowed from anyone else. And so when people try to say, you don't know how it is out there anymore, it's like, I'm sorry, but we didn't have the internet when we didn't have any pennies. We didn't have a car. We didn't have all the luxuries that you have right now when we made it. So you can do it.
Am I super fabulously rich? Do I have multiple millions? No, I don't. But do I feel like I'm wealthy? Absolutely.